Is there a certain characteristic of the people who come to you?
The common thread is that they all care very much about their land and they don't want to see it developed.
Hi, this is Lynn Widmeyer, and with me today is Liz Wheeler, who just retired after 13 years as the director of the local Farmland Preservation Board. It's very timely now to talk to Liz because the issue of farmland protection and with all the development going in, the loss of farmland, it's a very important topic, and I think it's on the minds of many people. So why don't we just start out and tell us a little bit about the Farmland Protection Board.
Okay, well the Jefferson County Farmland Protection Board is one of 20 state farmland protection programs in the state, and it's enabled by a statute that was voted in by legislators in I think 2000 originally, and then
that was very forward-looking of them.
Yes.
Good for them.
And that was all promoted by actually a lot of Jefferson County residents and other folks in the Eastern Panhandle who saw the tide flowing over the Blue Ridge and decided, we need to do something. So this legislation was passed, and it enabled counties to authorize farmland protection programs and also to fund them. With the real estate transfer tax. So each county has to decide to do this and to create its own program as long as it follows the statute. So Jefferson County did that. I think they did their first conservation easement in 2004.
Ooh. Now you came on board in 2011.
2011.
You've been involved really in so much of the program because development has gone up and up and up and up. Mm-hmm. And I think looking at my notes here, the number, well, hello, Kat. The number of farms has been declining in Jefferson County through the years.
Yes.
Well, how much money have you got to spend? Let's get right down to the nitty-gritty. How much money do you have to spend to buy agricultural easements? I guess it varies year by year.
Yes, well, that's a complicated answer. The local funds. Yeah, Pearlie is very friendly.
You
the
are
local
very
funds come from the real estate transfer tax,
mm-hmm.
and which is a double-edged sword. So the more development we have, the more transfer tax we have, and the higher the real estate values are, with the more development pressure. Currently, the board is receiving I would say a little over $1 million a year in transfer tax.
So tell us exactly how it works. A farmer is interested in staying a farmer, and 97%, according to the state ag survey, 97% of farms in Jefferson County are family farms.
That's correct.
So if a family wants to continue the farmland as farm, what do you offer them through the farmland protection programs?
Well, first of all, this is a voluntary program. Landowners come to us. We can't go out and say, "Ooh, you have a nice farm. Would you like to protect it?" Yeah. I think I used to think that all the time, and I bird dogged all the wonderful farms, many of which actually did enter the program, but not because I encouraged them to. So the landowner comes to us and applies. And they are then in a pool of people who are also applicants, and they are assessed according to a set of criteria.
Their land is assessed.
The land is assessed. So we look at the soils, we look at the size is most important, soils, water resources, proximity to other protected lands.
That's important.
And so all of that is scored, and the properties with the highest scores are selected, and then how many that can be funded depends on how much money there is. The board also gets matching money from two major programs, the Natural Resource Conservation Service or the American Battlefield Protection Program.
And you have been very successful. I think you said that in your time that you've brought in $13 million. in grants and
in
assistance?
grants and donations.
I mean, million here, million there, pretty
Well,
soon you're talking real money.
and I would say another very important factor is that a lot of landowners did not take the full value of the conservation easement. They did what's called a bargain sale, and that amounted, in the last calculation I made, to about 40% of the value of the conservation easements protected. That's a lot of money.
So,
It was left on the table.
because they wanted to protect
Yes.
their land. So how many acres in Jefferson County right now are protected by these easements?
Right now it is 6,986, something like that. 6,946.
Whoa, climbing to 7,000
And then there's another almost 600 acres that are
in the works.
In the works that I left. When I left, they were in the works.
What are the characteristics of the people who come to you and want to voluntarily put their land under easement? Like, they're all family, I assume most are family farms.
Well, the common thread is that they all care very much about their land and they don't want to see it developed. A lot of them see the value in getting the land protected in perpetuity.
I think what I like so much about this program, and as we said, the protection of farmland is a very hot issue in our county now. Lots of people say, let's just regulate farmland. Let's prevent them from doing anything. Let's go after the developers and stop them. And the thing I like about this program is it supports the farmer. It supports their vision for the future. And I just think it's very encouraging that so many farmers in our county want to participate in this program, which means they cannot sell their property for residential or commercial development. I mean,
That's correct.
It's protected in perpetuity.
Yes, and that's
I love
why
that, perpetuity.
perpetuity means forever.
Forever.
We can't control things 500 years from now, but we can control it now. When folks first come in to talk about the program and learn about all the nuts and bolts, I always made sure to say, you need to think about this carefully. If you think that you want your child or your grandchild to, own something or have a parcel, you need to carve that out now.
Oh, because you won't be able to do it later.
Now, and then, because you won't be able to do it later, and you can't change it.
Well, I think it's a wonderful program, and Liz has actually been involved in aspects of farming all her career. Her other aspect of being involved is the food that's raised on the farm. She has been a cook. She has been a chef. She has written cookbooks. Well, tell us a little about your culinary career, because it's so interesting.
My culinary career started with my mother, who was a fabulous cook. And so that was always a part of our family life, was really wonderful food. I became enamored of cooking when Julia Child came on TV. In the 70s. We were living outside of Boston, and her show on GBH came on. Then I decided to go to college, and then I dropped out of college to start a restaurant with a philosophy professor.
Wow. Well, now isn't that a normal combination? A chef and a philosopher start a restaurant.
Yeah, it went on from there.
So now I have to say, because Netflix has come out with this special on Martha Stewart, you did have a relationship with Martha Stewart, didn't you?
I worked for Martha, in the early 80s when she was running the catering business out of her house in Westport, Connecticut.
Were you like a chef or sous chef or?
Yeah, I was one of the cooks in the operation.
Well, now obviously you are a woman of many talents. Now you're retired. What are your thoughts about retirement?
I'm on the board now of the Land Trust of the Eastern Panhandle. I'm also still a member of the vice president of the West Virginia Association of Farmland Protection Board.
Oh, so you are still pursuing the protection of farmland,
Yes.
not only locally but in the state.
Well, watching the legislature very carefully
Oh boy.
to make sure they don't do any more shenanigans.
Oh wow.
Because that's always a threat.
Yes, it is. Well,
Just
are you
think-
going to pursue anything regarding cooking or any more cookbooks in the works? Opening another restaurant?
Oh God, no.
No.
No, never. That's for a 20-year-old. That's very hard work.
Younger.
Yeah. Oh, I've toyed with the idea of reviving a food column I used to write.
Oh.
Because I did one for the Observer back in 2006.
I remember that.
And I think for 6, 7, and 8, 3 years or 4 years.
Well, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. I've learned a lot about you, and I've known you for years. But thank you so much for chatting with me.
You're welcome.